Hello everyone, I'm Ex Inferis and I'd like to welcome you to my section of Blast from the Past on behalf of Fingers on Plastic. Today I'm going to be taking a look at some of my Star Trek collectibles, things that I have bought for many years. I started collecting Star Trek pretty much as soon as I got out of collecting toys when I was quite young, just coming into my teenage years. So I've got stuff that basically covers toys and higher end collectibles. So we'll be taking a look at some of those things today. I'm going to be doing the video in 4 parts. I'm going to be covering each of the 4 decades from the 1980s to the 2010s. I don't have a great deal for the 1980s, but I more than make up for that for the 1990s. So let's have a look then. Now for this section I'm going to be covering just these 4 items because they're pretty much all I've got from the late 1980s. My mum actually got these for me on one of my birthdays. I think it might have been my 13th birthday actually. So yeah, this is pretty much all I have because I wasn't able to find any more after that. I don't know why, but we're going to take a look at these. I'll leave the Enterprise till last because that's my favourite piece here, so I'll just move that off to the side. Let's start with Geordie here. Now, these figures were made by what I now know as Galoob. I used to pronounce it Galoob, which, yeah, I didn't know. We didn't have the internet back then, guys. You know, we sort of had to muddle through, so... yeah, but anyway, these were pretty basic figures back in the day. They came carded, just a blister card. The cards were nice. I wish I'd kept them, but yeah, things you do when you're a kid, eh? But anyway, let's have a closer look here at Geordie LaForge, and this was when he was just a lieutenant and not lieutenant commander. It's not bad. It's basically a 3 3/4 inch figure. So given the time period, it's not too bad. So as you can see, he's got his visor on there. It does kind of look like he's wearing lipstick and he's applied it in the dark. It's all over the shop. It's funny the things you notice when you're filming stuff because everything's suddenly so much larger on your camera. But anyway, but for the time it's pretty nicely painted. And this, of course, is the early TNG uniform. They later changed it to a 2-piece, which I think looks a lot better, but this was the one they used in the first couple of seasons. So yeah, he's not bad. He's got a nice little bum crack going on there. Articulation-wise, yes, you don't really get much with these. The heads do move. It's very tight, but it does move. His arm goes all the way around. Nothing else there, everything else is just moulded in. He can kick forwards and he can kick backwards, and he does have some knee articulation. So there were play sets out at the time, so you could at least sit them down, although what he's doing on the bridge of the Enterprise with his phaser out like that, I don't know. Maybe they've just been invaded by the Romulans or something. Yeah, it's not bad. As I say, he's got his Type 2 phaser. No, wait a minute, that's Type 1 phaser, isn't it? In his hand there. So, yeah. And all 3 of the figures I have a phaser. So there's Geordie. He does look quite nice. Let's see if I can get him to stand up again because I wanted to fall over just now. Let's look at Captain Picard, who for some reason is doing an eye roll. I don't know what he's just seen that's made him go, oh, not again. So, yeah, again, it's the same articulation. I'm not going to run through it again. But it's quite nice, quite nicely painted. Yeah, I don't know why they chose that look. So there's Jean-Luc, and then we shall take a look at Worf. And again, you know, for a 3 3/4 inch figure for the late 1990s, not too shabby. like his sash, does look very good. Does look like material here at the edge as well, looks like it's quite frayed. Yeah, so I mean all of those figures pretty much the same. Wolf is a little bit taller, so, and of course, come on guys, stand up. They don't want to now, they've done their piece and that's it now. They're tired because it's the most they've seen of the outside world in about 10 years. So let's have a look at what I consider the star of the show, and it is the Enterprise. And this thing is made out of die cast. The whole thing, it's entirely die cast. There's no plastic in this thing except for a little bit just here. That's the only bit of plastic in it. And it's a monster. It is really, really heavy. And I have to admit, even though I was 13 or so at the time, I used to play with this quite a lot. I absolutely love it. So yeah, it's actually really well detailed as well. As you can see like all the little windows and that around the saucer section. And got the nice Enterprise serial number on the front there. It is looking a little bit worse for wear, but so am I. So there you go. That's what happens when you get old. But for the time, it was a really decent piece, really nice. Some of the paint is starting to get a little bit mucky, I'd say. It's not dirty, it's just sort of worn. I used to spend quite a lot of time doing that, just putting my fingers either side like that. Oh, those were the days, eh? But yeah, this is one of my favourite pieces. Because it does have the sentimental value as well, with my mum getting it for me. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, it's a really nice piece. I really like it. And the fun thing with this, if you've not seen these before, is that the saucer section does in fact detach. So yeah, and you can just see they have even moulded in. You can just see it, the battle bridge, just there. But obviously it's got a bit scraped off over time, because I used to separate it quite a lot. So where there should be paint, it's gone off a bit over the years. Because every now and again I'll take it out and I'll just pop the saucer section off for fun. But yeah, it's a really, really fun piece. I wish I'd kept the packaging for these now, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's not a huge issue. But yeah, like I say, like, the whole thing is die cast. You just don't get that anymore. Just that piece there that's plastic, but everything else is die cast. And it's riveted as well. So I couldn't take it apart even if I wanted to. And I used to take everything apart when I was a kid. All of my Transformers got taken apart at one point or another. And it just pops back in like that. So there we go. So that's my first part. So I'm going to stop the video here so I can bring out some of my my 1990 stuff, and I'll see you right back here in a minute. Right, so in this part of the video we're going to take a look at some of the stuff that I got in the 90s. Now you will have to excuse the shaky camera here, but there's quite a bit here and I can't get everything in frame on my tripod, so I'm just going to do it this way. Now what I'm going to do, I do have some more Playmates toys to look at, but I'm going to do a quick overview of these things first and then we'll take a closer look at things in a minute. So at the back is the Playmates Enterprise, and I'll get to that when we do the Playmates section. And then I've got a few things, just collectible things that I bought over the years. This West Coast clock is quite fun. That's a Spock one. I mean, these you can get everywhere now. Not with Spock on, but just that style of clock seem to be available everywhere these days. This is a Borg cube from Hallmark Gifts. They make these sorts of things every year. I'm sure trans fans will know as well, because They do Transformers ones that I can't get hold of now. But I happened to be in the States when that one came out. I can't show it because it needs to be plugged into some Christmas stuff. And I don't have any Christmas stuff handy yet. It's still too early for that. And there's a few sort of collectible things in here. It's a little Enterprise under glass thing. Actually, this Klingon Bird of Prey and this Enterprise I actually bought when I worked in a toy shop. I worked in a shop called BT's in Milton Keynes that apparently nobody has ever heard of. Because every time I say to people I worked in BT's, they go, "Oh, where's that?" It's closed down now. It closed down a long time ago, sadly. That was my favourite job, that one was. But anyway, there we go. These cups here, these all came from Pizza Hut. My mum, when she was working up at the city centre in Milton Keynes, she went in every week and made sure I got the whole set. So, thanks, Mum. My mum's great. She's always been there for this sort of stuff. And then this is like a pewter calendar. It was from 1994. If you look at the back, it's got all the dates from 1994 on. I'll take a closer look at that one in a minute, because that's quite cool. But that's just some of the stuff, the like non-toy stuff. Well, I mean, some of it's toy, but you know what I mean. And I got all these different badges and stuff that I got over the years. So I used to wear all these badges to school. Not this one, I left this one in its packet, but all these I used to wear to school. And a Voyager one. So there. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pause the video for a minute, and I'll choose a few things to have a closer look at, and then I'll come right back. Alright, so I thought we'd have a closer look at some of these things, because they're the ones that interest me the most. Like I say, these two I got when I was working in BT's. I actually got a lot of my stuff while I was working in that shop. I'll come to that when I get to the Playmate stuff. But these are die cast, made by AMT Ertl, who used to make a lot of these sorts of things, and a lot of the model kits as well, which I also have. And I just think they're quite nice, you know, little die cast ships. They both come with a little stand with the Star Trek logo there and the Starfleet insignia. I am a little bit disappointed to find though that when I took this out of the box, the plastic parts on my Enterprise have not only yellowed very badly, but they're going sticky, which is a real shame because these are some of my favourite pieces. But oh well, can't be helped. I mean, they are 30 years old nearly, some of them. So there's those couple of pieces. I also wanted to take a closer look at this. This was one of the things that I got when I was collecting the more expensive things. And as you can see, it says 15th anniversary of the motion picture. And it's just got a nice little calendar on the back. Just a nice little thing. Made of pewter. It's, you know, it's not precious metal or anything, but it's really nice. We had a quick look at the Borg cube, but just thought we'd have a closer look because it's very, very nicely detailed. Get right in close there. As you can see, it's got some very nice detail on it all the way around. I'll leave this one out now for Christmas, and I'll try and sneak it on the tree somewhere. See if my mum notices the big silver cube. They just turn it off and on at the bottom there. So there's that, and this is just a watch I picked up. At the same time, I picked up the Borg cube in America. I think we went to the there's a museum in New York. It's like a natural history museum. And there was a little shop attached to it, and they had all these just random bits in. I've got some others to show you as well, actually. But I picked up this watch because I thought it was really nice. I've never worn it. I've always just left it in the box because it's just a really nice collectible. I don't know if you can see, but when it's going, I didn't replace the battery for this. I just set it to look nice. When it's going, the Enterprise just goes round. It's the second hand, so it just goes round and round. It just looks really nice. But yeah, well, when I've got these out, I just sort of display it in the box like that. It's just a really nice little thing. So I did warn you that the 1990 segment would be quite in depth. I've got a lot. And then there's just this little. Now I did dust this, but it still looks really dusty. I think it's dusty on the inside, so apologies for that. I thought I'd got all that dust out. I'll just take the dome off. There you go, that's better. And it's just a little diorama with the Enterprise. Again, just a little thing that I picked up. I can't even remember when I got most of these things. But it's can't even remember who made this one now. Doesn't say. I can't remember. It might have been another Franklin Mint thing. I used to get a lot from there. I did have the chess set. I've still got it actually. I'm missing a couple of pieces though. I would have liked to have got it out for this review, but it's right at the back of a load of my other stuff, and I couldn't get to it. And then I thought we'd have a closer look at these cups because these are really cool. They do have schematics and things on them. I won't show you all of them because that'll make this video really long, but I will put some pictures on my Instagram page, so please go and check that out. I will ask, is it Rudy? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. The chap who's running this, if he can pop my Instagram in the link, that'd be really good. If not, I'll. I don't know. Maybe you're not even that interested, but I do quite like these. These will pop off the top actually. This one's quite tight, but yeah, it is designed to do that. They all just sort of pop off, so you can just use the little toys on their own if you wanted to. I imagine quite a lot of these got lost, but I have the whole set of 8. They're just little plastic toys. They're not really, you know, exciting in any way, shape or form, but they're just quite nice. I just put them at the back of my collection, and I just think they look pretty cool. And there's the original Enterprise there. I mean, they're not badly detailed. I think they were like 99p or something. They were ridiculously cheap. So, and like I said, I got the whole set of 8. I'll pop the toys off. So you get a little next gen tricorder, which again is quite nicely detailed. It's just a couple of stickers, but you know, it's just a little tricorder. And then this one's a bit stuck. You get a little Type 1 phaser. The buttons don't do anything, they're just, you know, there. I'm not going to bother taking that off actually. You just get the insignia badge there for next gen. And for the original series, and that's it. And it all goes wrong! That's because I'm trying to keep this video under 30 minutes. I don't think that's going to happen. And then you get this, the little communicator from the original series. Again, just a sticker on the inside there and a couple of little buttons. But just little fun things. You get a Romulan warbird. That comes off as well, but it's not much on the underside. Or rather, I should say the top, but it just looks better that way anyway, doesn't it? And then, last but by no means least, you do get a nice... I've got to stop saying nice, it's like it's the only word I know. A really fantastic little Klingon battlecruiser there. I like the lid of this one because it's it does look like a moon, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so there you go. And I thought we'd take a little bit of a closer look at this clock because it does have lights and sound, just the one sound, and it's flipping loud. I never actually used it as a clock because it's too loud. Well, an alarm clock, I heard it as a clock, but yeah, so you just...
Landing party to Enterprise. Beam us up, Scotty.
I've no idea who that chap's supposed to be.
Landing party to Enterprise. Beam us up, Scotty.
And it would just carry on doing that, and it's got a little light.
Landing party.
So yeah, this was one of the earliest things I got. It's just made by Westco, and you can see it's just a little LED under here that goes off. I have noticed that it's starting to yellow a bit here on the hull section, but given the age of it, and it's got a nice little background, just a Star Trek. There's a few stars in there. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that, really. There's not much else on there. I just thought it'd be nice to show it working, because it's a bit kitsch now, I suppose, but yeah, I still quite like it. So right, so that's a quick look at all those bits. I'm going to bring in all the Playmate stuff, and then we'll have a closer look at those. Okay, so like before, I'm going to have to start a little further out, because there's quite a lot here again. I'll get to the Enterprise at the end, and I forgot to put the micro machines in on the last section, so I've just put them here for you to see. I did have a lot more than this, and Playmates in fact, but about 10-12 years ago I had to sell quite a lot of my stuff, and sadly the Playmates and micro machines were the first things to go, so, which I really regret now, but what can you do? Right, so let's have a little look over here. These are the ones I've got left. I do have a couple of others still on card, but I can't get to those at the moment. I had a heck of a job getting to this stuff that I've got to be honest. And yes, that is the Dixon Hill set at the back there. So we'll bring them all forward, we'll have a proper look. So let me put this down. Right, so then, let me clear these micro machines out of the way, give us a little bit of space. Okay, let's have a look, let's get that one out of the way. And let's have a look at these before we get into the big sets. So, I believe these were called, like, Inner Space or something, I can't remember. These were another thing I got when I was working in Beatties, and it was a long time ago. But they're quite fun. They're basically just little mini play sets. So you open it up, and inside you get a couple of little figures and a little mini play set there, which is fun. Stickers coming up on that one. So yeah. And I believe this set you get a little mini Spock and a little mini Solar, and these are really tiny, really small. And then this one is the same sort of thing, but with this, for some reason, I mean, if you wanted to, you could wear it. I mean, it's huge, but you could, I suppose. But with this one, you just crack it open, and you get a little transporter, and you're supposed to turn the wheel on the side, and there they are, and then off they go, and then back again. Mine's getting a bit stuck. So, I can't remember if you can take them figures off. Oh yeah, you can. They clip off. So you get a little Riker and a little Data. I suppose in theory you can put any figures in there because they're just little clips. You get a couple of teeny weeny little figures. Ah, so cute. So that's those. Right, so the rest of this now is going to be the Playmates figures proper. I do have one slight oddity. I've got this this Captain Kirk. Like I say, I did work at that toy store, and the people there knew that I collected these, and apparently we had the shuttlecraft that went along with this, and it was broken, it wasn't working, and somebody came out to me and they said, "Hey, you collect these things, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Do you want a Kirk?" And I'm like, "Yes." And it wasn't until later on that day I said, "Well, isn't this the Kirk out of that shuttlecraft set?" And they said, "Yes." I said, "Well, what happened to the shuttlecraft?" And they said, "Oh, Colin threw it in the skip." Colin was my boss. Colin threw it in the skip. And I went, "Oh no!" So they went out and tried to get it for me, because I said, well, I probably could have fixed it, but it was too late, it had gone by then, so I didn't get the shuttlecraft, but I got the Kirk. So we'll use him for articulation's sake. Now, his head will move. Oh, it's a bit stuck actually. The arms will go round. And slight improvement here, we do have a twist at the bicep and actual bends at the elbow, nothing at the wrists. The waists move and you can kick out to the front, albeit at a strange angle, and the back, and knee bend. I don't think these had any boot cuts, no. So they weren't too bad, they were a step up for them from the Galoob ones from a few years previous to these. But yeah, mine's got a bit of a mark on his arm as well. I think that was there though when I first got him out the skip, or before he went in the skip really. So yeah, so we've got a few. So we'll just we'll go through them quickly. So most of these are from the first few waves that came out. So I've got a Riker. Some of these are better than others, really. I mean, by today's standards, these things are pretty naff, but at the time, they were pretty decent, you know. So I've got a Riker. I think I've got most of the accessories still, but I've moved around a lot in the last 25, 30 years, so it's possible that I'm missing something. Look at that there. That little pad comes out. And he's got this, I can't remember, this was used as a survey tool or something. It's been a while since I watched TNG, to be honest. So there's Riker. And then we've got Troy. Not quite sure what's going on with her neck there. Not a bad looking figure. At least you got some decent accessories with these. Although apparently it wasn't required that she have a phaser. She could just protect herself with a computer and a pad and a tricorder. What else we got? We've got a Benzite. Trying to get them in the sort of relative order that they were in when I bought them. And this is quite a cool one, I do quite like this. And he comes with these little things, so he's got a little tricorder. There's a couple of things there, so it's quite good. I mean, he gets a phaser. What's next? So, yeah, then we've got Kayla. And I like this one, I really like the design of her clothing there. I think there was another version of these where all this was just done in a red plastic and it didn't look so good, so we'll just pop that off. So, not too bad, not too bad. We've got a Ferengi, and he came with quite a lot of stuff actually. He came with his whip, and he came with a massive phaser. A really massive phaser, and a piece of dilithium crystal. Was this? No, that's not right, is it? Dilithium's not red. I can't remember what that is. I should have looked it up before I started, sorry. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've even had these out of the box, to be honest. But and he does have the little Ferengi logo there on his head, which is quite cool. And he's a nice looking figure. I once got a bit of a dodgy elbow, though it doesn't hold up as well as it used to. It's got a bit limp. So that's that. Got this Scotty. I really like this Scotty though. I stopped sort of collecting these after I left that toy store, so I don't really have a great deal after the first couple of waves. I think I'm missing one of his tools as well, because I've got the two he's holding and I've got this one, but I'm not sure, I can't find any more. But it's not surprising. Let's leave the other two for a minute, because those are sets. And then I've got a Cisco. Yeah, that's, I've not broken that finger, he came that way. Just got this little deformed finger. Looks quite nice. I think this is one of the later ones actually, because he's got the beard. I always like the shaved head and the beard actually. I think he looked better that way. And he's got a few things it comes with. Not sure which way up that goes. It's got that. It's got a phaser rifle and nope. I can't remember what that is. And then we've got Jadzia Dax. She's a nice figure as well. Right, they've got the spots all the way down her face there and her neck, so that's quite a good one. The articulation is the same on all of these, except for the... Well, this Jadzia doesn't have waist articulation, but the Troy does. But the females don't always have the waist articulation. I'm not sure if she articulates under that. No, she doesn't. And then she comes with this ceremonial fire pit and a couple of bottles. So that's it for... Well, there's one other single carded figure, but I think he goes better with the set. So let's have a look at this one first. So this is... this was a box set. There should be a thing at the back, a diorama piece at the back, but I think you had to cut the box to get that out, and I didn't want to cut my box, so this is what you get. It's a nice set. I know there were a few of these. I only got 2. I don't know why I didn't get more of them. Sort of stopped collecting Star Trek stuff after a while. Well, these anyway. But, yes, that's not a bad set. And it goes quite nicely with the Enterprise. So, and then last but not least, the last single carded figure I've got is this Data, and I've left him till last to go with this because ideally they go together. So this is the Dixon Hill set, which is quite a nice set on its own, but I think it works nicely if you have the Data with it. Although I think he only went on a few of these holo trips, didn't he? Holodeck trips with Picard. I much preferred him with doing the Sherlock Holmes. Bit of a Holmes fan anyway, so yeah. So that's just a quick look at some of the Playmates figures I've got left. Like I say, I do have a few carded still, but like I say, they're right at the back of my room somewhere and I can't find them. If you saw the state of it, you'd understand why. So, right, before we put this lot away, let's have a look at the Enterprise. Now, I did also have the Enterprise D, the Shuttlecraft Goddard, and the Transporter. I do still have the Transporter, but the other two I sold. Yeah, really regretting it. But I did keep this one because it's the original Enterprise, and how can you not? Although you could say that about the Enterprise D, really, but what's done is done. I can't go back and change it. So hopefully I'll replace them at some point. If they re-release them, I'll get them. I'm just not keen on buying second-hand ones. So yeah, let me just pop it off the stand. It comes with a nice stand, but I'm not really interested in the stand. I'm interested in the actual ship. So we'll have to do this one at arm's length because it's quite large. So it's a nice looking Enterprise, and it does have lights and sound. Let me just move the camera down a little bit. There we go. Right, so if you press the buttons along here, you get the sounds. So yeah, so quite nice. that's it. It's just those two nacelles, the ram scoops, that light up. That nothing else lights up. It just makes the sounds, but it's quite nice. Did come with stickers. I had to apply these, and I'm not a fan of stickers. Decals, yes. Water slide decals, definitely. Stickers, nope, hate them. But yeah, I'm glad I kept this one. So, right, so that's it for the 90s stuff. If I have missed anything, apologies, but I think I've got everything in there. Right, next up, 2000s. So this brings us to the 2000s. And I think this is about the time I realised that American toy companies hated the Brits. Because this was all I could find in regards to these two series. And I really wanted to get all of these and I couldn't find them anywhere. And for those saying, oh, just go on the internet, you have to remember that at that point in time, the internet was still really young and we didn't have the opportunities back then that we have now. So these, if you couldn't find them in shops, you couldn't find them. So I probably could look for them now, but I have an issue especially with these, but I'll get to that in a minute. We'll have a quick look at the Nemesis stuff. Now, I have to admit, Nemesis is not my favourite Star Trek film. Never going to be my favourite Star Trek film. That's The Voyage Home. So, but we'll have a quick look at these guys, because even though I wasn't massively keen on the film, it would have been nice to have had these highly detailed figures in my collection at the time. But these were the only two I managed to find. In fact, I think I found all of these things at the same time in the Entertainer in Milton Keynes. And I've not seen them since. So, let's have a quick look here. And it's been so long since I've watched Nemesis that I've completely forgotten the name of this guy. Sorry. He's really well made. He does look really good. He's got some gorgeous detailing all across his body. And this was a major step up in Star Trek toys. From Playmates to these, it's leaps and bounds better. This is much more in sync with what we have today. He's really nicely done. This robe is all a really soft rubbery plastic. So I'll just put him back there for a minute. I know I should know the name, but it's just not coming to me. But we'll have a look at Jean-Luc. And again, this is such an improvement. It's just night and day. Absolutely gorgeous figure. We do have this rubber on here as well, and this is a slight issue I have with these figures. I'll cover it when I do the Enterprise ones. But yeah, it's a decent figure. Articulation wise, it's pretty near what we have now, so you can move the head. It is on a ball joint, but it's a bit awkward. And there's all this rubbery plastic here. Arms do go all the way around, in and out. Oh, on a very tight joint. I don't think he's got any. No, there's no rotation, but he does bend at the elbow. Now. And he does rotate at the hand. Does rotate at the waist, and does drop his phaser. We'll just put that off to the side. It can kick out, can't kick back, can't go out to the side. It does have a knee bend, and does have rotation at the feet. So articulation wise, a lot better. Still not quite what we're used to today, but definitely getting there. But for me, it was the sculpt, really. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty recognisable as Patrick Stewart. Yeah, still a nice figure, I think, even if the film sucked. The figures for this were good, but yeah, issues I have here with this plastic coming away, this rubbery plastic coming away. I'm concerned about this guy because that whole robe is just all rubbery plastic. But let's have a look at the Enterprise stuff. I know a lot of people didn't like Enterprise. I was not one of them. I thought Enterprise was a great series and I was gutted when it was cancelled. I really enjoyed it. We'll do T'Pol first. Again, not bad. I don't know why my camera's flickering in and out. I think it might be the Enterprise. But let me just let me move the NXO one out of the way. A minute, see if we can do something with this. That's better. No, still doing it. Okay, just go further back. So yeah, decent head sculpt. Articulation on the Enterprise figures, not as good as the Nemesis ones, and it's weird because they came out in the same year, so I don't know why that would be the case. But yeah, she can. You've got the same sort of head articulation, in and out rotation at the arms. Oh, but this one does have a rotation at the bicep though, so there's an improvement there. You can move the hands, and the hands are in fact interchangeable. I do have them, I just don't have them handy. I don't have them handy. Sorry. It looks like you should be able to rotate here, but you can't, and I'll tell you for why in a minute. You do get knee bends, and there is some articulation at the foot, but not a great deal. The reason this isn't a rotation joint is because for some reason known only to them, I think this is already starting to become a problem with this. Art Asylum, aka Diamond Select Toys, decided to cover the entire figure in rubbery plastic. Why? I mean, just for what logical reason? I mean, they must have known what was going to happen at some point. This is going to perish. This is going to perish so badly. I've had these, sorry to Paul, I've had these since about 2004, and as you can see, it's already coming off all over my fingers there. And this is the first time I've had these out of the box in 7 or 8 years. It's not great. Let's have a look at Archer. Again, it's not a bad sculpt. I think the Picard one is definitely better. From the side, it's actually not bad, but it's not wonderful. And he's got a wonky eye as well. But that was the problem. I didn't have the choice. They were just, you know, whatever there was on the shelf. So, and again, this all up here is hard plastic, but for some unknown reason, all of this is this rubbery stuff. And you can see it, in fact, on the camera, that they don't even match in colour. I don't understand what the point in that was. I mean, there's a waist twist in there, but I'm terrified to move it because that is going to rip at some point. So I don't know what the point in that was. I really don't. Because they've made a pretty decent action figure that you daren't move. You daren't move this bit. So, I don't know. It's a shame. It's a real shame. And this is a reason why I'm not looking for these figures. Because if I find them, they're either already going to be perished or they're going to perish at some point in the very near future. And I'm not paying good money for an action figure that's just going to fall apart. So hopefully at some point in the future another company will do Enterprise figures and we can, you know, I don't know, get rid of this or something, I don't know. Maybe I can rip this off and just sculpt my own lower body. I don't know about T'Pol though, because that whole thing is rubber there. But that's my issue with those. I would say it's a minor issue, but it really isn't, because, you know, you expect these things to last. But anyway, so onto the ship. And I've just realised I forgot to put batteries in this before I started the review. So just a sec, I'm just going to put some batteries in it. Sorry about that. Right, so batteries in it now. I do love this. I do love this ship. It does have lights and sounds. We'll get to those in a minute. But let's have a closer look at the ship itself. It is gorgeous. The The detail on it is absolutely wonderful. And you can see there it's the NX-01 Enterprise. Really, really well painted, this one as well. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm leaving it on the stand there because it's a little bit awkward to get off and on. But yeah, it's just a fantastic looking ship. I believe this has been reissued since I got this one. I don't know what the reissue is or if it's any different from this. But I got this one in, I got it at the same time as I got the other, so it was about 2003, 2004. It's beautiful, beautiful ship. It's funny because when I was looking for these, I really thought this was bigger, but no, it's quite small in comparison to the original Playmates Enterprise I showed earlier. But let's have a look at the lights and sounds. I'll bring it round this way so you can see. Let me actually just bring it out a little bit, because there's quite a bit going on in this ship. So to activate the lights and sound, you just push down on a bridge. So and you can see the deflector dish at the front and the nacelles all glow, all light up, which is really nice. And you get quite a range of sounds as well. So yeah, I think we've cycled through now. Nope, not quite. There we go. It is quite wobbly on that stand though, it does sort of move around. I mean, it's not going to fall over. The stand itself is really quite nice as well. It's got the Enterprise on it there. It's look really nice. So there, yeah. So that's. I do have a few other things, so I'll put those out quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on these because I know this video is getting quite long now. So be right back. I also have these. The reason they're laying down is because they point blank refuse to stand up, and I'm not going to waste everybody's time. Back to Playmates for the very latter part of the 2000s, and yeah, they've not really improved. But I bought them because they were cheap, and that's literally the only reason I bought them. And who doesn't want their own Zachary Quinto? So, right, just a brief look at those. Very brief, because there's really nothing to report with them. So, I'm going to reset and we'll get to the very last part. And this last part is actually going to be very brief, because over the last 10 years, I haven't been actively collecting Star Trek stuff. I've been focusing more on my Transformers, Masters of the Universe, that kind of stuff. And also the fact that despite it being the 50th anniversary a few years ago, there was next to nothing to buy. I don't know why, it's very strange. The 25th anniversary, I just was inundated with stuff, and I was a teenager so I didn't have the money for it, and still managed to buy more than I bought at the 50th anniversary. So, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't looking in the right places. But I thought we'd have a quick look at mainly this, but because it felt a bit weird just having that, I've got this too. This is just a little Eagle Moss Enterprise D. It's funny because I really thought that I had the Future Imperfect version, but nope, it's just the regular Enterprise D, so I don't know what I was thinking there. I think that the trouble is you buy so much over the years, you kind of forget what you've got. So, yeah, this is the first one from the Eagle Moss Starships collection from a few years ago. I had every intention of buying them, but they were quite expensive, and the first batch of ships they came out with just didn't really interest me at all, so I didn't really want to pay whatever it was. I think it was like £10 a fortnight or £10 a week for ships I wasn't interested in, so I basically just got the first one for like £3. But it's a nice looking ship, and it comes on quite a nice base as well, and in fact most of the heft is in the base. It does have some die cast in it, but unlike the Enterprise I showed you right at the beginning, the only die cast here is in the saucer section, and I believe it's only on the underneath, so what a difference a couple of decades make, eh? But yeah, it's quite nice for what it is. It's got some nice detailing in it. You can see all the windows. It's very well painted. So yeah, not bad. But to round this out, I am going to finish it on something a little more interesting. This was offered by Matty Collector. It was Mattel's retail arm for their Masters of the Universe, Ghostbusters figures, and they had this up for the 50th anniversary, and I was lucky enough to get it, and it does actually tick a few boxes for me, because it's Star Trek obviously, but it's also a Hot Wheels car, and I do sort of randomly collect Hot Wheels. I don't get all of them. I couldn't afford to with all the other stuff I collect. I just wouldn't be able to. But I collect like Batmobiles and the HW Screen series, you know, all the stuff like Back to the Future, DeLoreans, and Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy and that sort of thing. So it was right up my alley. So this is the shipper box, or the mailing box, whatever you want to call it, and it's all sort of pretty normal sort of Hot Wheels stuff, really. There's a bit of a bio on the top there, if you want to read that. Yeah, and it's got Star Trek 50 on the bottom. So let's have a look. I actually haven't had this out for the longest time, and it doesn't want to come out. The unboxing on the camera, that will work well. So then we get another box on the inside. More of that, and then when you take it off, you get a little tableau of Leonard Nimoy leaning on his car between takes. And yeah, it's kind of sad that this was pretty much the only thing I could find at the time. Let's take that off. That's with that little lock diorama there. And let's get in close. The story for this is, I believe, if I'm getting it right, why am I having all this problem today? That it was basically between takes, and Leonard Nimoy had gone outside for a cigarette break or something, and they'd found him just sort of leaning up against his car. So Mattel decided to make it for the 50th anniversary. Which is okay, I guess. It's a nice little Hot Wheels car. I've not had it off the base, but I believe it does roll, and it's a proper Collectors Club one. It comes with the rubber wheels, so yeah, it's not bad. I can't quite get in on it. It's about as close as I can get. His face isn't painted or anything, it's just sort of there. So, that brings my segment to an end. Most of the stuff I got was in the 90s, which is why that part was so long. Since then, as I said, I've pretty much fallen out of collecting Star Trek stuff for the reasons that I just haven't really found much that I like. It's been a bit sort of thin on the ground in recent years, and I'm not going to buy stuff for the sake of buying stuff. I have to really like something to buy it. So, but that's it. Thanks for watching. Do check out all the other Fingers on Plastic reviews. We do a whole bunch of stuff. We do Transformers, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, Masters of the Universe. We do a whole bunch of stuff over there. So, you know, if you're interested in any of those sorts of things, go over and check out our site. We'd love to see you over there. I hope you've enjoyed this look back at some Star Trek stuff over the years. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Fingers on plastic.